What's up, everybody? Welcome to Meadow Memo, Meadow's monthly podcast that charts recent changes and trends in the cannabis industry. I'm your host, David Hua, CEO and co-founder of Meadow. Once a month, I sit down with cannabis dispensary and delivery operators to explore trends and hear insight into what's happening at the retail level of this growing industry. At Meadow, we build a full suite of cannabis retail software combining point of sale, delivery, cannabis marketing, compliance, inventory management, analytics, and more in a single, easy-to-use platform. Today, I sit down with Julien Butler, Director of Retail Sales, Marketing, and Delivery at the original Green Cross of Torrance. We talk about how retailers and brands can work together, retail sales flows, the importance of curating menus, product trends, advertising to reach new customers, and how to keep them loyal, and also how Green Cross has worked with brands for 420 promotions. Lots to learn. Hope you enjoy it. Today, I'm rolling up a couple of joints. One from Sense, which is a Bay Area grower. They have this amazing strain called Pink Certs. We did a 420 Eve and they rolled up and had some really nice flower to share. So we got that. We powered sales at Hippie Hill 420 with the Green Door and Big Care delivery. Got a chance to purchase some Khalifa Kush. And that's the original strain that Liz has been smoking on. So those are the two strains I'm smoking. Just want to give a shout out to the Hippie Hill crew. That was the first legal sales they've ever done there, and we were a part of history. A couple things I've been looking for, particularly around these strains. The Pink Certs, the flavor and smell is off the charts. I think anyone that really gets a chance to get this is in for a treat. It's a really good high. That just tastes so good. This one's the Pink Certs. It's super floral. Tastes sweet. Still has that little that gas. It's nice. Welcome to the podcast, Julien.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Hua. I'm really excited to be here.
At the dispensary, you run so many different, it's basically omni-channel sales. You have a full dispatch, you have drivers, you have leads, you have managers, you oversee the marketing. Can you tell me a little bit about how you structure your team and the roles everyone plays?
Definitely, yeah. So I oversee the delivery department, the sales department, and the marketing department. We set up the delivery department before COVID happened. So it was kind of like a small natural growth process. We didn't really put too much marketing funds into it, anything like that. And then about 6 months later, the COVID pandemic happened. And then, we saw more sales online, both just online pickup orders as well as delivery. So the demand had increased. We started producing more vehicles, things like that. We saw a nice natural growth. So I run the delivery department. I have a manager under me. Her name is Alex, super solid. And then we have some dispatch leads under us and then a full group of delivery drivers. So yeah, they're busy all day long, every day. We're getting orders from, Leafly, Weed Maps, and also the Meadow platform as well. So they're staying nice and busy on the sales floor. So we have a couple sales managers, operation managers, and then a whole group of leads. And our main goal out there is to, provide the best customer service and provide all the information that they're, coming in to get. Because at the end of the day, we're all selling the same products. So you got to figure out ways to differentiate. And ours is, we try to use the education behind the products as best we can to do our part as the retailer to provide this information that cannabis brands are coming to us with to pass on to the customer. So that's a big deal here. We actually do use the Meadow menu, the embedded menu, to do all of our sales on the sales floor currently. We have, I think it's about 14 iPads set up in the store with our website and the embedded menu loaded up there. So budtenders have been trained on different sales strategies and how to kind of use the menu, create it user-friendly environment for the customer as well. So that's kind of, a rundown of the current sales floor there. And then we also have marketing. So that's a lot smaller department. It's myself and a couple other individuals here. But pretty much, we do monthly marketing programs with certain brands. We have certain specials during like seasonal times, things like that. We do a lot of reporting, providing feedback on how, all the analytics went, things like that. But it's been a fun department to see grow and also just, continue to be able to provide for the store as well.
You're a busy man. I'm glad you made some time for us. We've been working together for, I guess it's like 4+ years now, since 2019.
Mm-hmm.
It's been cool to grow with each other and also adapt to the market from Prop 215 to 64, from pre-COVID to COVID to now sort of post-COVID. Can you tell me a little bit about how the business has changed over time, and then how we or Meadow has been there to serve you, or and how the customers have sort of adapted to it?
Definitely, yeah. So I've been at the Green Cross here since 2018, and I've kind of seen it grow in a lot of different ways. We've, expanded the retail sales space. We doubled in size, so that was great. That happened in 2018. So yeah, that was pre-COVID. We were seeing kind of, like the first big rush of the Prop 64 being initiated in July there. We made that transition from medical to medical and recreational. So I was a part of that. The big questions were the taxes with customers and all the packaging, and we went through a whole phase of those sealable bags were required instead of the paper bags for a long time. So that was kind of a whole transition period there. And then once all that kind of passed, it kind of turned into a growth period. We had a good training for our staff here, a lot of education for different ways to explain products, things like that. So that seemed to work well with the customers. Just setting up the right sales and kind of delivering what the customers wanted for a little bit there. Just, hearing out their feedback, what products they wanted, things like that. It was like a really good back and forth for a little bit. Things were going very well leading up into COVID. And then when COVID happened, honestly, the biggest letdown was the capacity. That was what really kind of hurt us the most. Our capacity went from like 36 people to 12 people, including staff. Maybe even been down to 10 for a little bit because there was like the different tiers that we were going in and out of. So that was a lot of regulating how many people were on the floor. There was staff that was concerned at times, even though we were operating, with a very, very limited capacity. This, just the tension and the fear of the pandemic, things like that. So that was kind of don't want to say a rough period, but it was more of just, everyone was kind of on edge a little bit. And then once, I want to say it was like in June of 2021, things kind of opened up again pretty nicely for everyone. Meadow's been great through the whole process, through everything, and we've been happy with all the updates and things like that. Some of the really big updates that we were happy to hear about were the integrations with Quickbooks. I know our finance team was really happy to have that happen, and it's been saving them a lot of time with doing a lot of manual inputs as well as just building the reports and things like that. Also, using the insights it's been a lot of solution-based projects for the purchasing team. We're able to just kind of click around now real quick instead of just building the reports, which not everyone can do right away. It's, something that requires some training, but the insights program that you guys have, it's a lot less training and a lot of good information just right in front of you. So that's been very good. And honestly, my favorite part about the whole process, and also a couple of the other directors here mentioned this as well, is just the customer support you guys provide. You're very quick on the live chat. You guys always provide solutions that we're looking for. And, you guys are on it in general. There's never really been any like, oh, why aren't they responding or anything like that. So you guys are very reliable in that sense. And it's just nice knowing you guys on a personal level and knowing that like we got each other's backs out here through everything. That's kind of what matters at the end of the day. And so very grateful for you guys, and we're going to, keep going here at the Green Cross.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. Something that we say a lot here, our success is dependent on the success of our partners. And so by focusing on, your success and what you do on a day-to-day, really sort of eventually will feed back up to everybody else. Try to be on top of it. I think our average response time in chat is like 5 minutes, which is pretty good. And I think we've been able to keep that for, I think it's like 5 years now.
Nice.
So 5 on 5, most of the time it's way faster than that. So we'll see how it goes. Let's talk about sort of sales in general. How do you think about, daily sales between storefront, delivery, in terms of volume, and sort of how do you manage those expectations and seasonality and whatnot?
I've been overseeing the sales department here for about 3 years now. So a lot of what we do is just look at previous years and how, those variables will come into play with future planning, especially with 420. We actually, one of the things we were most proud of this year for our numbers in 420 was we actually really didn't discount many items. It was mostly all promo. So, a lot of other stores, things like that can produce some big numbers, but I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn. I see those discounts being handed out. So it's a little bit different strategy going on. But just kind of knowing how to plan what our customers are looking for and just really understanding them the best. We're here in the South Bay, so it's kind of an interesting area. It's pretty diverse. I mean, you go one way, It's, the beach cities, you go another way, you're headed towards LA, you go another way, you're headed towards Long Beach. So a little bit of everything going on here, but we're able to provide a menu for everyone. We don't get too many requests. We try to listen in all the time. If you want CBD pre-rolls and you're one of 5 customers that needs it, but it's a medical reason, then we're definitely going to grab some for you. If you're looking for certain strains, things like that, we'll still hear you out, even though we see a lot of people every day, but we have the capacity to do these things. So I think it's like a little special attention that's handed out here and there to customers. It's well appreciated, I think. In terms of delivery, I know that growing the territory has been definitely a way to increase sales. I know that during the holidays and the beginning of the year, we had some security issues with delivery. So we had to kind of strengthen up our approach to handling these situations, which everything is going very well now. We were able to have one of our best delivery days on 420. So, we're continuing to see the growth there. The team is doing very well.
Have you been happy with the volume of sales throughout this journey from pre-pandemic, even, this year, or even 420, if you're able to share that?
Volume has increased. It's been interesting to see the prices of certain products kind of move around on the menu as well, and seeing how that affects the volume of, their sales and their competitors' sales and things like that. But yeah, volume has increased. It's pretty consistent, the growth here, even though we do like different marketing campaigns and things like that. It's a pretty big company for, what it really is. And so it kind of just moves. It's like a big ship, it's moving at its pace kind of thing, but it's definitely growing. We have cool purchasing team that's buying cool products and, making the relationships there. So that seems to be working well for that. We also brought on a couple in-house brands as well. So that's been something to work through. Some competition had to unfortunately hear that, our in-house brand is a priority. So we have to kind of, put them first. That's been a little bit of a couple bumps in the road, but now it's working out great because we made the space for the in-house brands. The other brands we are working with, a majority of them have other lines available, other tiers available. So we could work with that as well. So, it was a salvageable situation, but yeah, the growth has been consistent and, everyone's showing up and contributing every day. So, shout out to the team.
Yeah, that's interesting. We're seeing more operators sort of stand up their own in-house brands in order to, capture more margin, as well as, secure more licenses upstream and, verticalize their operation. I think there's a pros and cons to it though, right? To do that, you're oftentimes putting more effort and CapEx into building out those facilities. And then you have to have way more hands to build these internal in-house brands too. So how have you been able to manage that? Also, why not, alienating these relationships that you've built over these past few years?
It's just part of working in the retail here in California. There's, people are vertically integrating and wanting to, stabilize and secure their business as best as possible, and providing flower to their shop. That's a golden opportunity right there. I've heard a lot of comparison to Kirkland or, just Whole Foods products in general. I don't think we're quite there yet in terms of having both on the shelf. It does kind of happen naturally. It kind of depends on how you see the product quality compared to others, because everyone has a different scope on that. There's been some conversations with these vendors where, they want to be on the menu alongside this brand for competition. We got to stick with what our plan is here. But like I said, there's that room for, let's find some other solutions, because we already like working with you guys. And this is just part of what the industry is. It's competition, and there's not many retailers out there. So I understand we need to keep this going. So there's been a lot of that going on. But at the end of the day too, we do want to build these brands here, and we want to show to customers like these are quality brands that we're bringing in here. We're not just cutting out competition to put something on the menu that you're forced to smoke. The staff likes the brand, customers like the brand. We're able to do different promos and things like that. And so it works out at the end of the day. It's just a little bit of a transition to get there.
And is this just a flower brand, or is it edibles as well, or concentrates?
Our in-house brand is called Alta Vida. I'll give them a little shout out right now.
Yeah.
So they are indoor cultivated, really nice genetics, really nice quality. They've been cultivating for a long time in the medical space. Have nice packaging as well. Honestly, it's great flower. I smoke it all the time.
How much is that?
Yeah, this is a full ounce.
Yeah, all right.
Tray in there. It's got some nice nugs in there.
Are you seeing more volume now purchasing, or value shopping, or in terms of instead of getting an eighth, people are buying ounces.
We
Got
have
it.
different discount days out there. We have Senior Tuesday. You see a lot of ounces sold on Senior Tuesday. It's a once a month kind of thing. They love it. You show up, you get a nice savings, probably scoop up some promo items while you're here. We use the Meadow loyalty program, so people are getting discounts and picking up promo items through that as well. So for the once a month shopper, definitely. But we like to encourage people to come in here all the time, scoop up the eighths because there's always fresh drops. Honestly, it's the freshest way to smoke, I think. For me personally, it's like I kind of want to not smoke through a whole ounce of one strain. I'd rather smoke through a few, like different strains,
Yeah. There's a lot to unpack on what you just said, and I just want to double down there for a moment. You went from talking about senior discounts to helping your consistent smoker to the people that want fresh flower, as well as offering different discounts for people that are either shopping, weekly, daily, or monthly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's pretty incredible in sort of your acumen on who your customer is, when they're shopping, what they're trying to buy, and breaking it out into the spectrum of offerings for them, according to their schedule. I think that's awesome. And I'd love to even just ask a follow-up to that, which is, what do you think brings people to the dispensary, and how do you segment this marketing and messaging to all these different cohorts of people?
We're all selling the same products here. So you definitely have to find ways to differentiate, and setting up the marketing makes the brands happy to work with us. They know that it's a long-term game, and they're able to provide additional perks to the dispensary to offer out to not only staff, but also customers. That goes a long ways. The education that we have here at the store, we have almost every day, we have brands coming in doing brand education with anyone who works here that needs a refresher or our new staff here. So that's happening almost every day here. And then I think just in addition to that, it's just kind of the customer experience. So, everything's been designed here to kind of, if you want to take some time and talk to, one of our department assistants about, what strains to smoke, or, just the whole rundown of the menu, different, things you've been dealing with and what products can help out with that. We're, more than open to do that. We're also, okay with if you want to just come in and make a quick order and out you go, we have everything set up for that as well. Get you in and out real quick if you're on your 15-minute break, things like that. So just trying to kind of cover all bases in between those two. But honestly, the loyalty program is a great way to provide that perk to the customer experience. Picking up a free joint, a free edible, getting a discount, it goes a long ways. People remember that. And we also issue loyalty points if there's, any reason why customers should deserve a little bit of extra loyalty for either, just being given some great feedback, or, maybe they had an experience that was less than, desirable, and we're like trying to make up for it. Some loyalty points are great, and then they can grab a discount or a pre-roll, things like that. So that's been a great perk as well. We offer free delivery as well, so we're just trying to compete out there with all these big dogs doing free delivery. So that's another perk as well, especially with the gas prices right now. Just trying to create little opportunities here and there for the local customers here to enjoy us besides the great product selection.
I love that. It's like you're batting singles and doubles and getting all of your people on base, and eventually they come home and ring up the register. So small wins add up to big movements here. That's awesome. When you think about loyalty, there's something that we've been playing with on the loyalty, which is what we call milestone buys, where you can create a reward when they hit like a $50 threshold, a $200 threshold, a $500 threshold, and you can kind of keep layering in more points. We haven't seen too many people do that, but that's something there. And then the second thing was like offering more like crazy promos, like free trip to Hawaii with an all expense paid vacation. So you have this dream gift out there for people to wait and accumulate all their points.
Yeah, there's people here that they do spend enough money where the loyalty program can be built out to a larger scale like that. One of the cool things about this past 420 is we were able to do some cool raffles. So we actually got a ticket to the Beach Life Festival, which is a local festival here in the South Bay. And we also got a one-night stay on like a beachfront hotel down here as well. So
yeah,
I like Hawaii trip. Yeah, that's going big, but that's the next step. Definitely trying to provide that loyalty for customers. We want them to know that Green Cross is the place to go for them. We're going to take care of them no matter what. There's not too many other stores around here, but that's only for a certain amount of time. So we're playing the long run game around here. We want to make sure that customers are here with us, for the next 5-10 years, going all the way, until the end of eternity. Like we want them to be with us. So, we're always striving to create those customer experience opportunities. If we can get it approved from our owners here to send a customer and a +1 to Hawaii because they came through to the store on one of our special days, like I would love to do that. So yeah, the loyalty is super important, and, creating those new opportunities and, offering ways besides like, oh, you can get a bong or you can get, an eighth. It's like, no, you can get a gas gift card, or you can possibly like get a reward trip to Hawaii or something like that. Just kind of offering more instead of just kind of staying in the cannabis scope.
I love it. The loyalty program, we put a lot of intention into it to allow operators to have that flexibility, and I'm glad it's serving you well. So going back to 420, you did 20 days of 420 promotion before 420. You partner with brands. I think not only do you have loyal customers, you have loyal brands. Can you tell me a little bit about that promotion, and then ultimately how did 420 go for you, culminating to post this marketing push?
We do 20 days of 420 here at Green Cross. The thing I like about it the most is it gives opportunities to brands to kind of have a takeover day. They can kind of show us like what they're about and what they're capable of doing. There's ghost promos happening. They usually have a PAD as well. There's, some social media shout outs that happen to kind of hype it up a little bit. We're trying to create a big 420 buzz for the actual, 419 and 420 dates approaching. Believe it or not, there's people that show up on 420 and they have no idea what's going on. So I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible by just letting everyone know like 20 days of 420 are happening now. And we have a lot of cool brands that we do marketing with already, and other brands that have like great promotions and things like that they want to come and show, customers what they're about. So, and honestly, it's a great thing for staff too. It kind of builds the hype. A lot of times vendors do kind of come through for staff. They'll bring merch, they'll bring snacks, they'll bring lunches, things like that, to make sure, their day is going to be a great day. So every day we had promos. So, and then, everything led up to 420, which, was a Wednesday this year. Some things that we changed from last year is we had a Canna Market event. So it's kind of like a large PAD, along with, we had like a food truck, we had games, photo booth, opportunities to interact with some staff, things like that. Yeah, we had a great turnout. I mean, we saw some great numbers across the board. We were a little bit concerned with gas prices being such a factor right now, as well as people haven't received any stimulus checks for a little bit. And leading up to the last 420, there were a bunch of stimulus checks. So we were wondering like how that would play out, but luckily things went well, and we were able to penetrate through those variables and continue to grow as a company here, both on the sales floor as well as delivery too. So yeah, everything went pretty well.
Yeah, I think, instead of the stimulus, even though high gas prices, I think what's changed is people are outside smoking. There is more social consumption. You weren't just in your house or in your apartment by yourself. This time it was, I'm rolling for, a group of people that I haven't seen in a while. You might not be passing the joint, but you are smoking together. And I think that was very apparent with celebrations outside.
Definitely. Yeah. A lot of smoking going on.
I mean, you must have amazing vendor relationships to have brands come in to do, PADs, to offer promos. Do you mind sharing, how you approach your vendor relationships, and especially now that you have these brand takeover days, and you actually push a lot of marketing yourselves for them? Seems like a win-win situation here. It's not just, hey, give me all the promo and that's it. There is a two-way street, and I think that's really important to highlight.
I think a big contributing part to the success of vendor relations is the Green Cross team here. We have a sales department and purchasing department. We meet on a weekly basis to kind of go over different product categories, how marketing is affecting the menu and things like that. That's definitely a big factor. It's working with the brands. It's both parties have things that they would like to see happen, and those things take time. But as long as those goals are still being worked towards, I think that actually contributes to a great vendor relationship. whether that's like bringing on another line of pre-rolls, or maybe the store wants you to grab a display case for your marketing, since we've seen growth in sales, and kind of just being open and talking and hearing people out. And there's a lot of meetings that happen, and making sure that the right things are happening for the brand as well as the store, and paying close attention to it. I've heard other dispensaries where, the purchasing team is almost completely removed from almost any interaction with the sales team. And I'm actually really curious to know how things go with that, because here everything is pretty much interlocked. We're all, every day checking in with each other on different projects. There's been a few instances where the purchasing team has brought different, problematic situations to these vendors where it's just honest feedback, and the vendors were able to, take that feedback and make their brand a better brand. We are a high volume store here, so the sales are, for the brands that we do move volume with, they're very happy about that, and they want to make sure that, that continues. And so we make sure everyone's good, and we give them a heads up if there's anything that they need to be concerned about for like any in-house brands launching. There's no surprises. It's everyone kind of knows what's going on, and there's clear communication.
Communication's key. I love the fact that your interdepartmental comms are going on. It allows you to move quick, adjust to any issues. I mean, everyone's still owning their respective lanes, but there's clear communication, so no one wastes time on things. I think that's awesome. One thing to talk about adapting, you went from selling out to display cases to now selling with iPads with people roaming a bit. You have this big menu now showing all the sales and deals that you have going on. Now, talk about the evolution of the sales floor, and also sort of what the brands need to bring to you, whether it's specific promos or content, imagery. Like, how do you think about that full experience as consumers continue to change?
We were selling out of cases, like you mentioned, when I first started working here at the Green Cross, and that made sense. We didn't have a huge menu, and it wasn't as busy as it is now, so there was time for that. But the problem that happened was there's too much time being spent on editing and printing new menus and all this, and there's mistakes being made, and customers were kind of getting a little bit frustrated. It was just a real obvious decision to just move to digital and kind of manage e-commerce a little bit more instead of like a physical in-store display. That decision was made, and then at the same time that opened up the opportunity. We have, at the time we had 6 display cases available for vendors to participate in shelving. And so that seemed to work out well. And there was a transition period where customers were so used to shopping out of displays, and they weren't really comfortable shopping off of an iPad. Crazy story is we actually launched the iPads right before 420 of last year. We were able to have a full 420, and the bud tenders were trained up. Customers were okay with everything, and we were able to have a successful 420 on those iPads. So since then, we've been doing the iPad game. That's been working out. And the nice thing about it is it's the same menu online. So it's really easy for customers to shop online or just browse the menu online. Once they come into the store, it's nothing new. Where before it was, you were shopping online, and then you come into the store, and then everything was set up on a physical menu, and it didn't quite match the menu online. So
You've also given your team the ability to be more free-flowing, which is awesome. You can now be more consultative and roaming and have this true sort of Apple Store experience, but still give those options for people to go to the counter and get what they need. So it's pretty great. I love that. We talked about brands and vendor relationships. There's so many brands in California. As you mentioned, there's not many dispensaries. What advice do you have for either a brand currently that's not on your shelves that wants to be? How do you discern giving them a shot? What do they need to come with to approach you to get there? Or is it just, I have my brands and don't email me right now? I think there's a lot of energy trying to push their sales.
Yeah, definitely. I feel a lot for the brands just because of the whole, there's way too many brands, not enough retailers situation. Brands right now, they do have to be smart, making sure that they know what the dispensary is all about, and honestly, knowing the menu very well. If you're going to approach our store here with a brand new product line, you need to know where it will fit in comparison to other products. It's going to be tough for us to drop a brand that we're currently with that's contributing to marketing. It's going to take some time with that. But if you have a different approach to where you're not just trying to, this is our product, this is the price, and this is what it is. Where if you come to us where it's like, well, this is what the price is, but let's try to figure out a way to get something on the menu, and we can start with that. So kind of just being like open to starting small, not getting a huge order. When marketing comes into play, we've had some good and bad experiences with brands coming to us with marketing budgets right away saying, we can contribute this much off invoice credits or checks per month if we can hit minimum orders, things like that. That's not always the best way to go about it. But if you do have quality product and you have a quality team behind it, then that is a safe way to go about it. The problem is a lot of these brands, it's kind of like that triangle where it's like you can pick two, but three is ideal. It's the packaging looks great and the marketing and the brand behind it is great, but what is in the bag is not great. And so a lot of these factors kind of come into play. We try all the product before it hits the shelf. It's got to match that price point. Brands do have a chance here. New brands specifically, we do pick up new brands. We have meetings about this specifically because we know that brands are out there trying their best to innovate their products and on a medicinal level and recreational level to try to put items on the menu. We want to give them a chance, definitely. If the companies will put together, large or small, and they have a quality product, quality team, and they're willing to put in the work, we will notice that and that will be considered.
No, that's some pretty good advice there. We've talked about your main gig at the original Green Cross, but you've also built out Stoke Marketing, with a friend to meet with buyers and vendors and help with advertising on Dispensary website, which works pretty nice with the embedded Meadow menu. Can you tell me a little bit about your plans for this and how brands and other dispensaries can work with you? You have all this knowledge and it seems like you're now opening it up for others, and I think that's awesome.
Definitely. I mean, at the end of the day, I want to see this industry grow in the right direction. And I think digital ads there's a place for them in this industry. A great example is, here at the Green Cross, we have a lot of display cases, but those are a little bit higher value. And, brands kind of need to work their way up to get into those positions, both with larger orders and also just getting those budgets approved. It doesn't quite happen overnight. But we saw that through digital ads, it's a lot more convenient for everyone. All you really have to do is provide some digital assets and we can have ads running pretty quick. It allows smaller brands to participate in marketing campaigns that aren't quite as high value as some of the physical campaigns. For a couple $100 a month, they're able to get their name out there, show to the dispensary that they really believe in their brand. Because the goal at the end of the day is, you want to see that this brand is doing well, and then maybe later on there'll be greater opportunities out of this whole thing. After kind of building it out with my co-partner Buck, he's the IT wizard, we kind of saw that there was a demand for this in general. So the idea is that we just want to help vendors and retailers kind of communicate with each other and see if there's any possible ways to take the relationship to the next level. I know it takes time to set up a lot of contracts and design how much everything's going to cost. And so that's kind of what we take care of. We're able to work with the Meadow platform and provide some opportunities for brands to have like an advertisement opportunity on their websites that actually works with the Meadow platform as well. We build a lot of websites. We help repair websites. We're here to just help out in general, special projects.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think everyone could use some help. I brought some flower and some concentrate brands. I'd love to just take a moment and maybe highlight do you like? Who's doing things right? Where are some brands that you're like, watch these guys, or shout outs to people that have been doing consistently? I'd love to hear some of your thoughts just in the landscape, whether it's edibles, flowers, or concentrates. You can take your swing. I think it's an opportunity to kind of give some love or to those that are out there.
Honestly, I got to give a shout out to Alta Vita one more time. They're making great flower, producing great flower, and they always have new genetics. So I've actually really been enjoying them a lot lately. I've been smoking them, multiple ways, joint, blunt, bong, everything's flavorful. So that's been great. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with that company, because right now they're exclusively sold at Green Cross. So they're comparable to some of the bigger brands out there, and I'm just curious to see how that's all going to happen. So I've been really excited about their flower recently. I've been excited also I like Kushco flower a lot. They have some great OGs. For edibles, I've really been enjoying Lost Farm. They have the live resin gummies. They always have new drops, and they seem to be pretty effective. The dosing is pretty accurate. I've been enjoying infused pre-rolls as well. Shout out to El Blunto. They've been doing some collabs that have some good fire with like Connected, Alien Labs. Yeah, I think that's about it. What about you, Hua?
Those are pretty good. Well, I had the opportunity of judging the Emerald Cup concentrates portion. So there's about 95 entrants.
Oh, wow.
Some highlights. I think people are now being more sensitive to packaging. So sustainability around the packaging is something that was definitely discussed. Also hardware, specifically concentrates. We're seeing a bit more like ceramic or natural hardware. Jetty has like a wooden tip. So this is Ursa. They have a ceramic. We're also seeing, this was pretty cool. This is new. It's called Carte Blanche. I like it because it's a really nice form factor that makes it pretty easy to play with and stands up. We're also seeing people think about how it's stocked on the shelf. So, this one is a concentrate, but it's in a little box, and the goal is just to stack them so it makes it easy for people to grab. This is cold fire juice. This was actually a surprise, in terms of good taste, and it smoked really well. In terms of flower, I actually been enjoying the Khalifa Kush. That's
We're gonna try
came
that.
out. It's awesome. It's like they found the original, and it's a really nice smoke. I can see why Wiz is all about it. Alien Labs has a consistently good flower. And then there's other brands that are using the pop-up bags and whatnot. But I've been gravitating to, freshness.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I think that's still very important to me. The flavor, the smell is often way more prevalent there. So I tend to veer toward what came in the shop the most recently and when was it packaged and whatnot. I'm not sure if that's how you operate as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I always check harvest date, manufacture date. I hope that both dates are on the tag. A lot of times it's only one of them,
Yeah.
Like the other day, we had a vendor come through and they were showing us eighths, but they were harvested and packaged in October. And I'm like, are these the best samples you have? Or, is this what we're going to expect, So it was not the freshest product, but, something I've seen is it'd be kind of cool to be able to promote fresh drops, freshest product on the Meadow menu. Because I know people are looking for that. I know everyone talks about, THC all the time and pricing all the time, but I think a big one that's going to come through next is going to be the freshness. People want to know, when it was harvested and when it was packaged. And
Yep, I'm with you. I'm way ahead of you there. We have been actively talking about it. It's something that I look for, especially because I'm not really big into crazy THC anyway. I care way more about the terps and the genetics and what and when. So good feedback, and we're definitely listening there.
Can't wait.
Switching gears, you've been in the industry for a while now and also active in the community, which I really applaud you for. You really get in there. What advice do you have to operators, both in retail and delivery, who may be just setting up a new business or currently in their business and kind of plateauing, or what could you help share as some insights that you've learned?
It can feel lonely out there at times if you're trying to develop new programs or things like that, because there's not a lot of research and a lot of things haven't been done yet. So a lot of learning is through trial and error. Embracing the cannabis community, honestly, is probably your best bet. Making friends, making contacts, whether it be just chatting with people, hearing what they've been up to. That's something I've been doing recently, is just I kind of opened up to just taking phone calls with people who want to just connect. And it's not a business call at all. It's just, what have you been up to? What are you doing right now? And, what's your plan in the future? So just making those connections and kind of seeing how they work their way through certain situations and having them to bounce ideas off of as well. Being able to, as a new operator, to see where would you like to see your company in 5 years from now, and maybe pick a couple people who are doing the things that you would like to see your company doing, seeing how they operate. Definitely go check out their stores. Maybe place an order online to see how all that works, seeing how they do things. Every month, the industry is changing, and there's always new things happening. There's, this one company is launching a lounge, and then someone else is launching a VIP program, and then, someone else has a shuttle bus program that they're going to. So there's always all these things happening, and just kind of being able to stay up with the trends and things like that within the community. I think that's kind of a safe bet to success there.
You're always staying up. I know post 420, we've been talking about our recently released product called Dynamic Delivery. I think we're talking about this as a nice bridge or transition into events, really. The fact that you can design your zone around specific areas, as well as have drivers be able to deliver and get an order within the vehicle itself. Do you have any questions about that? Have you thought about how that's going to play into your offerings?
We have that Beach Life Festival coming up. So that is going to be kind of our first real go at it. I did want to do some in the past, the beginning of the year, but we had some things we had to work through. But this is kind of like the kickoff to summer event. And we're going to do, some text blasting. We're going to send out a couple of drivers out to the area with a curated menu and make a move for providing that service to that event. But I was actually also speaking to the owners of Green Cross the other day. about seeing how we can include marketing in with providing delivery services for these special events. Because a lot of the times the events are held by, vendors or event companies, but what the Green Cross can provide is we can be the retail partner.
Oh, absolutely.
With Meadow, so that's what we're excited about and kind of seeing how that all can play out.
It can play out really well. We just wrapped up the first sales at Hippie Hill ever. We powered Green Door and Baycare delivery, and they were able to process sales right then and there. I think we also did a Trans Bay event where people were able to pre-order, and then the delivery came and everyone was able to get their cannabis. So, we are very event ready and battle tested in a lot of ways. And I think these event organizers are looking for cannabis offerings because I don't know if you've been seeing the trends, but people are consuming less alcohol. I think that was a result of the pandemic, and people are also looking for a way to relax and hang out. With essential cannabis now, it's here. I think that's a great way to think about it. In terms of marketing, one thing we're going to give you is a bunch of free credits for our marketing platform.
Awesome.
That way you can test that out. The way we kind of look at dynamic delivery and the text messaging is, you can have a driver out there, and because you've already accumulated all of this data from your customers, you can find out who's in that area and essentially target a campaign to them and let them know, like, hey, you have the candidates that's going to be right here for you, and check out this festival. So looking forward to sending that your way and seeing what you think.
Awesome. I appreciate that. And we'll have lots of feedback on how it all went, but I'm feeling good about it.
Cool. This has been great, man. I have, one last question. You've been working on some feedback for us. If you have anything you want to share, I'm happy to listen to it. Or any ideas that you're talking about or percolating in your mind, I'm always open. This is one of my favorite things to do is hear from our partners.
Yeah. I think it would be cool to kind of figure out a way for a possible Meadow advertising platform. And, obviously Stoked is happy to help you guys with that. But I think that would be pretty beneficial to the industry because the one thing I really like about Meadow is you guys are just focused in California and we get that attention. And so we're able to, advertising laws are crazy all across different states. It's mostly the same in California. And so.
Got notes. Yeah, I want to see these notes.
I want to give another shout out to the integration with Quickbooks. That saved us because we actually integrated from Trees to Meadow, and the main reason for that was because of the very secure metric programs that you guys had in place. And we actually attended the talk you guys did at the Higher Path for
the workshop. Yeah.
The workshop. Yeah, Jessica and myself went there, and that's honestly what kind of really got the ball rolling for us. But the one thing that we had to leave behind with Trees was because they had their finance kind of built in. So now that we're able to not only move to a better platform, but have you guys be able to keep up with what we need and provide that platform in addition to the integration, that was clutch. And that's not just in one sense, like as we grow, you guys are going to grow, and dynamic delivery, that's going to be crazy growth. And right now, like you were saying with alcohol and cannabis consumption, it's like a lot of people are not drinking as much and they are smoking more, but everyone is, I'm down in LA here and it's a little bit different where people don't really smoke outside as much. It's, I don't know, like neighbors are still calling the cops on you and stuff like that. But like up in San Francisco is a little bit more chill. I think in general, like especially when lounges and more public settings are going to happen, I think people are going to purchase less cannabis from retailers and purchase at these events and at these lounges and consumption sites where it's actually happening because a lot of people are buying alcohol from grocery stores and beverage outlet stores. So cannabis sales will always continue to happen, but just like the whole online shopping thing, that's going to take away from sales from the retailer physically, but it's going to add a lot of sales it's going to continue the sales on e-commerce. And so we're all going to be able to transition and, maybe a lot of the business will be providing services to events in the future because it is LA and there's so much of that going on. Like maybe that's going to be a huge revenue for us. We have no idea it's coming.
You know what? I think it's being like what you're already doing, this omni-channel approach. I think with Meadow, by providing all of these different ways you can serve your customer, whether it's embed, point of sale, pickup, delivery, dynamic. We're also events. We also have kiosk. We've seen some partnerships with dispensaries and hotels or restaurants. We'll have a little kiosk and say, hey, here, order your cannabis, and our retail dispensary will come and bring it to you.
That's so great.
And that's just an iPad literally linked to the embedded menu. So I think we're going to see way more partnerships because businesses in general also want to partner up. And with Dynamic, what's awesome is you essentially can run Dynamic combined with the marketing text platform. You can text while the driver is there and talk to your customers and have the orders ready to go for the driver to just give it to them in a matter of minutes.
Yep.
And what's pretty awesome is we built it with OnFleet. So there's this auto dispatch functionality where if there's like one car with one zone, it automatically sends it to the driver, bypassing dispatch. And it's just like this, knocking them out. So I think that's pretty cool. And I think there's this opportunity where if you're able to satisfy all of that and with your focus on retention, that's the killer combo. People paying attention to the existing customer, not just trying to find the new customer.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I can't wait until we put 1,000% of our efforts into that, because here in the South Bay, there's a lot of people that don't want to come out to this area to shop, and they want to just be catered to and whatever events they're going to be at. So can't wait for all that. But you guys are doing the right thing. And I'm always excited to hear updates, and I see that smile and I'm like, oh, he's going to say something good,
I think, one thing I've learned a lot is although the industry is very tumultuous, I've found our community, our tribe here, and to support one another, but also to enjoy the opportunity that we have in front of us, which is we at least get to work in cannabis and we get to smoke it. So, there's a lot of positives, and you've always been there for us and with us, and that's always much appreciated. And especially for the accounting, just shout out to Michael.
Kills it.
Kills it. Just gotta shout out for that. Without Michael, we wouldn't have pushed the integration, and we very much value that feedback, and we'll continue to listen and keep building.
Awesome. Yeah, she's a legend here at Green Cross. So,
but all hail Michael.
Yeah. But it's like I said, everyone's contributing, doing their thing, and so it's nice to see the dynamic and it all come together. And I left cannabis for a brief moment. I worked in seafood for about 6 months, and then I ran back into cannabis. Never again.
Well, hey man, that was it. Do you want to have any closing thoughts you'd like to share? Otherwise, this was awesome, and I had a great time. And thank you for spending some time with us.
Yeah, no, thanks so much. I mean, shout out to yourself and the Meadow team. You guys do a great job. Always doing cool stuff. Even what we're doing right now, it's, providing more information to the whole cannabis community here. But yeah, I'm looking forward to, continuing this journey with everyone, and let's all keep it going and let's stay connected. And it's important to remember that we're all in this together.
Words to live by. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for joining us here today. Follow on LinkedIn for future episodes where every month we'll dig into different aspects of the cannabis retail ecosystem and share insight to help dispensaries thrive. Learn more at getmeadow.com. Take care, everybody.